Are you ready to talk the second trailer for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever?
This was a big one. This is a big one. Obviously, it won't be as big as the Comic Con trailer, but we got kind of who the Black Panther's going to be, perhaps. They kind of
Perhaps.
gave it away. Unless they're just messing with us. They could be, but I don't think so. We'll see, though. It was a big trailer.
Yeah, I feel like we should just go into it, Ricky Flux, because this has been sweeping the I want to say the news websites that we've referred to for movies. It's been all over Twitter. It's been trending for the last 2 days. Last week, it seems like Marvel has like almost like what the NFL does. They'll always try and like they're relevant no matter what season that they're in. They could be mid football season, they could be the playoffs, they could be off season. They will always try. They will always succeed in staying relevant, and that is Marvel when it comes to the industry that is movies. So last week we had Deadpool 3, we got Hugh Jackman coming back. Next, right, we have obviously Wakanda Forever trailer, and we have Werewolf by Night coming, and that's coming October 7th this week, which is crazy to think about. I believe that is this Friday. Michael Giacchino in his directorial debut, Gael Garcia Bernal playing Werewolf by Night. We have the first Halloween special in the history of the MCU. Did you happen to see some of the critical reception of this Halloween special, Ricky Flicks?
Not really. Black Panther kind of just overshadowed all of this. I saw Giacchino, like an interview he did after like the premiere of it, but not really anything else. Like to be honest,
Well, I'll tell you what, it's not really a shock, I would say, but it's doing phenomenally. It's doing phenomenally. You know what it has on Rotten Tomatoes? And it's been only 11 reviews, but you know what score it has?
100.
100%, right? From Michael Giacchino. Uh, I feel like this is, well, it's a different taste of Marvel. So maybe like the depth of it isn't as deep, but the fact that they're trying something different and Giacchino is successful, you got a feeling with like this 30s and 40s style of like horror elements that he's bringing, that the music's going to play a huge part of it. Some of the reviews I was reading, they were talking about Garcia Bernal as something special and someone that really I don't think is that relevant to our viewings, but is someone that I think we're going to need to pay attention to when it comes to the future of the MCU and just in general as a talented performer. But don't let that distract us from our Wakanda Forever trailer reactions here. So I think we should start off with the big reveal at the end. I know what happens at the end, but this is what everyone's talking about. We have someone being revealed as Black Panther. We get the suit, right? The first person to bear the suit, at least seen on any type of screen, right? Following the death of Chadwick Boseman. Many have speculated that this is Shuri based on the figure of the person wearing the suit. I mean that in the most respectful way possible. There's also speculation that Shuri based on the dots that are on the mask that Shuri is seen wearing at the what looks like the funeral or some type of procession to honor, right, T'Challa's death, right, and to honor his life when they are the very famous scene at the beginning of the first trailer where they're dancing in white. There's something similar happening at the beginning of the second one, right? Shuri looks up and she has that face paint. Something's also going on with the Black Panther mask. Do you think it's safe to assume this is Shuri, Ricky Flicks?
Safe to assume that it's Shuri. Yes, it's. I think it's inevitable with the face paint. The figure, it could be. There's 1,000 great warriors in Wakanda that are women. It's clearly a woman, but just by the face paint, by the prominent character of the Black Panther franchise, yeah, this has to be her. And okay, I'm fine with that. It's just the way they already promote it instead of like having it be a surprise, even though they think they're being like clever with it. I don't think they know, or I don't know if they expected that everyone would know it right away. And if they did, then I think they just took a big draw away from the movie. But and I did. Speaking of that, I wanted to check how the opening weekend because tickets are on sale now, so I wanted to take a look. And for IMAX theaters, they're like probably a third full, a third. And IMAX theaters are huge, but like for Dolby theaters, they're pretty much packed, like 90% packed. So like they are selling tickets no matter what. I'm not trying to say it won't sell tickets because they did this. It's just that it takes away some of that cinematic event, that theater event that we love as on this podcast.
I don't mean to go on a tangent right now, but let's play the box office game right now. What is this doing in its first weekend domestically? Wakanda Forever.
Oh, first weekend.
First weekend only. I believe the first weekend for Black Panther actually hit over $200 million. And I think the second weekend for Black Panther hit over $100 million back in early 2018. Tell me I'm right. I know Ricky Flex is researching right now.
No, I don't know. I
thought you were looking.
I was, but I didn't get to it by the time you called my name.
I'm fairly certain.
I don't know. I really don't know.
Billion-dollar movie.
Yeah, let's see. How much did Top Gun Maverick make domestically? Like 700 million?
Yes. It's like the 6th highest grossing domestically of all time, or I think it's even higher now. It just seems like it's destined to become the highest grossing domestically just because it's going to be in theaters until 2025.
Yeah, worldwide it made almost 1.5 billion. That's crazy.
This one's got to be crossing $1 billion. Sequel to $1 billion
Jurassic
movie.
World Dominion made over $1 billion. This has to be making $1 billion. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness made 950 million.
Yeah,
like
this is crossing
worldwide. This is worldwide.
MCU follow up to a Best Picture nominee means so much to the culture, right? It's gonna be making $1 billion. I did want to say something else though, Ricky Flex, because I initially was upset by the way they ended the end of this Black Panther trailer. The fact that they were basically teasing us at the end of the first Black Panther Wakanda Forever trailer of who was going to be playing this Black Panther. And you see, we kind of assume it was a female figure, whether it is Okoye, whether it's Shuri, or the new or Nakia, played by Lupita Nyong'o, or even Anika, I believe, who's a new character coming into the fray here. You still couldn't tell it was a female figure, right? You were assuming, but you didn't want to do so disrespectfully because you only really saw her bum, and you got like a claw going out to the side. But I love the idea of you really aren't sure of who it's going to be, right? And that is certainly a draw to go in the theaters. It's leaving like a lot of fans, like, I guess it's a cliffhanger. It's like, okay, what are we going to see? And I was hoping it wasn't just a teaser for the next trailer, and that's exactly what it was. And now it's almost confirmed that it's Shuri also, because what came along with this trailer is a poster. And the poster, guess what, has Shuri, I believe, with the same type of markings on her face, right? She's the centerpiece for this poster. So it's almost guaranteed at this point that she is the one wearing the Black Panther suit. But, right, I would say that after being very upset by this, saying like, okay, like that was like what was driving me partially to see this movie, along with the introduction of this new major anti-hero that is Namor. And like the MCU hasn't been too open to anti-heroes. They're trying to like kind of shift into this. Like we've seen most recently with Wanda Maximoff from WandaVision into Multiverse of Madness and her history as one part of the Avengers. The people who make these trailers, right, heavily connected to the MCU, they're not going to take the audiences for dumb. And so I think there's going to be some type of twist here. And I think I was watching another breakdown of the trailer, the second trailer, and someone noticed that there might be a second Black Panther suit in this movie. I would not.
That. I think that got proven wrong.
Maybe I watched the breakdown. I still wouldn't be shocked, even if that's the same suit in the trailer. There's going to be some type of twist, because it's like, yes, it's Shuri, but you can't think we're that dumb. You can't just like say, yes, yeah, it's going to be Shuri after all this speculation. Like there's got to be some type of twist, whether there's going to be multiple Black Panthers, whether there's going to be a different villain than just Namor. People have mentioned Dr. Doom. I doubt that's going to be the case, right, for this movie as a major introduction, maybe as a post-credit, but not as the main villain. To me, that is pretty crazy, because I think I could easily see this would be a classic MCU when you have like a form of like anti-hero, right, teaming up with, right, the protagonists, or like the heroes here, the Black Panther or Black Panthers. I could see that happening. But like if Dr. Doom's first major appearance is in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, that feels a little funky, rather than like Fantastic Four or like I just can't see him as a major player here because you already have because he's the leader. I forgot what country, Latveria, I believe it's called actually. We got Namor's his location, I forget, I don't know how to pronounce Talokalin, I think is where he is from, in Wakanda. Like you have two worlds clashing already. You're gonna introduce the leader of another like location. To me, that's like too much. But I think it's actually go back to the main point. We might have multiple Black Panthers here. And it might be a situation where we have like Shuri like donning the suit. We could have Okoye donning a suit. And then we could also have like Nakia donning a suit. And then who knows if Killmonger comes back into the fold. I just think it's not going to be as simple as Shuri is the next Black Panther. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, okay. So let me just
Sorry, that was a lot.
here. That was a lot because you threw a few things at me. I'm a fan of Lupita Nyong'o. I think she's one of the best actresses on the planet. So and for me, I think she's the best actress in this movie. So I was a big fan of her becoming the Black Panther. Now, if you're giving me a way where she can become the Black Panther, then yeah, I'm all for it. And I'm not going to discount there being multiple Black Panthers. I know which breakdown video you were looking to. At first, this is a few hours after the breakdown. At first, everyone was freaking out, but then people were breaking down the breakdown film, and it was off of this teaser commercial thing. And there's some shade actually that there's probably the same suit, but someone else can be in that suit, right?
Yep.
So that's why.
Well, I'm just gonna call it out because these guys are amazing at breakdowns. I watched the new Rockstars breakdown. If that's what you're talking about.
I was just seeing the Twitter timeline.
Yeah, I'm okay with shouting out like new rock stars. They are monsters. They are their attention to detail is insanity. I'm not and, like how they understand the character. I'm just saying.
I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just saying there's other people on Twitter that's breaking down that breakdown film and saying, "Wait, you forgot about this and the other things." That's all I'm saying.
I didn't see that one.
But that's whatever. That's not my main point here. No matter what. We still like for sure we don't know because we don't know we don't know how it happens. We don't know if there's multiple, whatever. So I think the bigger storyline now is because obviously it's one of the three probably, if not whatever. But there's also comments from the person playing Namor. I'm gonna pronounce it wrong, but Tamor Huerta. Yeah. And he was saying that he's not the villain in the movie.
That also is something to pay attention to.
So clearly in this trailer, they made him as the villain. And I was on the side of you saying, okay, well, they make it so obvious. Like, is he actually going to be the villain? Or is he going to be like just protecting his people at the end of it? And it was just a big like misunderstanding, classic Marvel. And then they combine Wakanda and this and Namor to defeat a bigger villain. And then I was like, okay, well, who could that be? And I was really trying to narrow it down. And I agree with you. It would be disrespectful to Fantastic Four if they did Doctor Doom because he's been heavily teased as a post-credit scene for this movie. But if they made him as the main villain as well near the end in the third act, and then he was also a post-credit scene connected to introducing the Fantastic Four, which people were suspecting at Comic-Con earlier this summer was going to get introduced, or at least one or two, Reed Richards, Sue Storm were going to get introduced then, weren't. This would be the time in the post-credit scene, and Doctor Doom being the main villain, that makes sense logistically speaking, but I just don't see that either because I think that's disrespectful. So at the end of the day, Namor looks sick in this. As a villain or not, it doesn't matter. And I think that's the real main storyline now heading into Black Panther, especially after Teo Huerta's comments is like, all right, who's the big bad in this movie?
I think it's almost the same thing as like people who make the argument that Wanda wasn't really the villain of Multiverse of Madness. Like it's almost like a perspective thing, almost like a Killmonger in Black Panther. I think he is like the opposite of the protagonist here, which would make him the antagonist. Like he might think like you need a deeper understanding of the character to understand his motives, but I think he is ultimately right going to be the enemy of Wakanda here. Like I think it's more when him saying like we usually are seen as the villains, like he's an anti-hero. I think he's looking at the full scope of the character who historically like is known for being someone that can be trusted and someone who can't be trusted, someone who's fought alongside the Avengers and also fought against many of them too. You know, I still think he's going to be the villain here, but I think it's also what Ryan Coogler did with Black Panther. It's not black and white, who's good, who's bad. Like Killmonger, he has some good and bad to him. I think that's like Tena Huertas as Namor here. Like Ryan Coogler wants to make it, I guess, a little more cloudy. There was times in Black Panther where people are like, maybe Killmonger has a point. Maybe people after this movie are going to start saying, right, Namor has a point, right, and has a point to the motives of his actions in this movie. So when he's saying like he's not the villain, he is the villain. That's what I'm pretty much thinking.
Guys, can we just say Thanos was right? Like, can we just say?
That it's going to be even more hazy than that, you know. And maybe there's going to be some fault Wakanda can find themselves in this movie, and they might see themselves weakened a bit too, like following the death of. They probably are feeling a little bit weakened following the death of T'Challa, right? I do want to also talk about Namor. Like he was the big takeaway alongside the reveal of the new Black Panther suit. The fact that he has these wings attached to his ankles that look like he is like it's like I was thinking like it was like parademons attached to his like ankle bones, and then he also looked like Peter Pan. He's like flying through the air, but he's dodging, and he's going like side to side. Like his mobility is amazing in the air. It looks like he's actually pushing off something. I didn't know that was a part of the character. I thought he was just in the sea and he could launch out of the sea, and then he was an amazing fighter / warrior. I didn't know this aspect of the character, and it has me jacked. It has me jacked. Like he looks legit, and you see him going toe to toe with Ramonda, right? Angela Bassett's character here on multiple occasions, whether they're on the beach that we see, or it's him like facing her through the glass when she is alongside Shuri, or Riri Williams, excuse me, as Dominique Thorne's character that's being introduced here. We're going to get to her in a second, but I just think that it's going to be pretty stellar, and it makes me sad because I think it would have been amazing if you saw T'Challa against Namor, because I think those are going to try, like Coogler, knowing him, he might try and draw some parallels to those characters, and who knows, they may have actually known each other at some point, knowing the history of these two lands, right? And Namor versus T'Challa history in the comic books and these lands that war against one another. It just makes you think there might be a connection between those two as well.
Maybe, but yeah, Namor.
How cool would that have been if we had real like Black Panther versus Namor? That would have been sick.
I would have, Chadwick Boseman, like second full feature film with Chadwick. That would have been great.
Yeah, but I think we should go naturally to the third biggest thing that probably took part in this trailer, and that's the reveal of the Ironheart suit and Ironheart in action. So we got to see Dominique Thorne as Riri Williams in the beginning, in the first trailer. She's hammering away, classic like Iron Man 1 type of vibes. She's nailing the heart through the heart of iron, and then we see her actually in the suit. You get the close-up classic Tony Stark in the mask. Right? You got her yelling, "Let's go." It almost gave vibes of the first time that Iron Man takes flight in the red and gold suit when Tony Stark flies through the roof of his own house, or like basically the ceiling of his own house. The suit, we don't get a great look, but you see the inside, and it looks like we're going to get like a full-fledged Ironheart here in this in this movie, and that before she gets her own series. So it looks like there's going to be a great deal of character exploration even before her first solo jaunt. So what do you think about Riri Williams here in her debut?
So this is a part of the trailer I liked where, it continued to hint at Iron Man, right? And it gave us something, but not too much, right? We already knew she was going to be in this movie for a long time now, and we knew we got a little glimpse of it in the first trailer. We got more of it here, and now it's like, okay, she's going to be Ironheart through and through in this movie, and in a lot of it. At least that was my interpretation of it. And again, the connection to Iron Man and the suit, like you said, but again, not a great look of the suit, not a great look of the action scene, but we know that she'll be active in this. So that's like a perfect. She's not a cameo, but like supporting character introduction to a franchise. Like incredible job there. Like hats off there on the workers.
I'm excited for this character, and I think people are a little skeptical of having an Ironheart series, especially like we're expanding like the Iron Man universe without Iron Man. Right, we're talking about Don Cheadle's Armor Wars coming out, Riri Williams' debut in Wakanda Forever. Okay, and then obviously her getting her own show. I think people are a little skeptical because like you're trying to build something about the memory of Tony Stark. We saw how that did, and it wasn't that successful in Spider-Man Far From Home. Maybe it'll be a little bit tighter here. Maybe it seems like it'll hit home a little bit more, and maybe we'll find this character just more enjoyable than we kind of expect right now. And looks like they're trending in the right direction for what we've seen so far. It seems like the dynamics between Riri and Shuri are going to be strong, and then we might even see a bond between Ramonda and uh, Riri Williams following the loss of her son Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa. So I think it could be something special there. I'm very, very optimistic about this.
Yeah, I'm one of those skeptics for sure. Right? No Iron Man, like you have the reminders of Iron Man, great. Like we like him now, but then when it gets full force, it's like, oh wow, it's kind of weird that Iron Man's not here, and we're just like kind of mirroring Iron Man a little bit. So I'm one of those skeptics, but after these couple trailers, like it's looking good so far. But again, this is just the intro. Got to see it full force.
I got to tell you, I'm more excited to see Riri Williams than I am Shuri as Black Panther.
Yeah, there's something new, like a new word. Like we haven't seen this character really. Like Black Panther, like we've seen Shuri in action. We haven't seen Dominique Fishburne as Riri Williams yet.
Dominique Thorne.
Sorry, Dominic Thorne.
She's not Lawrence Fishburne's daughter.
I don't know why I said that. You know what I mean.
My like excitement for like heroes in this go Namor, Ironheart, then new Black Panther personally.
Namor definitely won.
Because I'm a lot more nervous they're going to screw up like Black Panther than they are going to screw up like Ironheart. So we have never seen Ironheart before.
But like if they do screw up Black Panther, as in like
the character,
you could just switch it again. It's not like going to be such a set in stone Black Panther like a T'Challa was. And when you say that out loud, like if they do mess up Black Panther, is not that bad. That sounds terrible coming off the loss of Chadwick Boseman and that T'Challa.
A lot to live up to.
Yeah, right. But it's like, oh well, okay. Next time, let's just bring Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger back or something like that. Just a prominent, like someone that everyone loved as a Black Panther opponent.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm excited for November 11th. It's going to be another $1 billion movie. Be good.